Have you noticed the prices on Pokemon lately? We're back in it again, guys. We're reaching all-time highs almost across the board yet again. And it kind of rhymes with what we had going on last year. If you think back to what we had going on a year ago. Prismatic was coming out. Everybody was so hype about what was going on with Prismatic. There were sets down the pike that people were really excited about too with Destined Rivals. And Journey Together had just come out, or was coming out, and people were kind of iffy on it. That's coming again. We have Ascended Heroes, that's Prismatic this time. And people are iffy on the new set that's coming after that. So you have a specialty set that came out at the beginning of the year, followed by a lower tier in people's eyes regular set that is coming out at the same time. Prices are reaching all-time highs on singles and sealed wax, sealed Pokemon. This is all looking familiar. And here's what I think is coming next. I think over the next few weeks, maybe the next month or two, prices are going to be nuts. People are going to be all about it. We're going into springtime. People are going to be excited about the weather warming up, and they're ready to spend money. And I think prices are going to continue. And then things are going to slow down throughout the summer. And I think they'll peak again in the fall and then drop again in the winter. Why do I say that? Because it happens every single year. Every single year we go through the same cycle. It is bigger now because there are more people in it. So the peaks are higher than they were before, and the valleys are probably higher too, actually. I don't think we go nearly as far down in the summertime as we used to before the big hype cycle that we're in right now, especially with sports. It's the same thing with sports. I mean, football season's over, and things are cooling off with sports, and prices are starting to soften. They'll soften all the way through the summer, and then they'll start to peak again going into the fall. And it's no different in Pokemon. I've been in sports longer than I have Pokemon. That's the only reason I bring it up. But I have evidence here, and I'll show you down here. I'm gonna show you a screen grab of the prices of a couple of singles and prices of sealed boxes. So I'm starting right now with a Charizard. This is an iconic Charizard. It's not as iconic as the normal or as the Charizard that's in Phantasmal, but that's too new, so we can't really use that. But look at this chart right here. So we have this chart for a full year. And a year ago, which is by beginning of March, that's where we're at right now, we were at a peak. And then it dropped all the way through the summer into July. And then that was the bottom, was July, around the 4th of July. And then it started to skyrocket again going into the fall, into football season, which I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I think it's just the weather cooling off and people coming inside. And it peaked again. Let me look at September. It peaked in September, and it started to cool off through the winter. And here we are again, getting into February, March, and we're going through another spike. So I think this is going to continue. It's a little bit delayed this time around, but I think this is going to continue. Ascended Heroes is driving people into the market. It's driving new customers in, and people are so excited about what's going on in the market. So excited about Pokemon cards. And I think we're going to do the same thing. Now, it's hard to predict a peak of excitement, but I think we're nearing it. I'm on feet on the ground, man. I have boots on the ground, and I am in the card show scene, and I see the amount of people that are in there, and I see it being the same way that it was last year with Prismatic. And Perfect Order is coming next, and then it was Journey Together was coming out. And that kind of cooled the market off. I think it was just timing, but it all works together. So I think things are going to cool off a little bit here. I know most people are not saying that, but I am saying that. All right, so we talked about the Charizard, and now we're going to talk about Bubble Mew. I picked out three cards, three iconic cards from the last few years that to look at these charts with. All right, now this is not as dramatic as the Charizard chart, but the Charizard, or the Bubble Mew, peaked again last year around March, and it started to soften all the way through June, and it actually hit a bottom before the Charizard, but roughly around the same time. June 30th was the bottom, roughly. And then it skyrocketed all the way through September, and it peaked the week of September 1st, and then it softened all the way back down, all the way through the winter. And here we are, it's starting to pick back up again, and it's not at the all-time highs. So this, if you want to speculate, you could pick some up and maybe it'll peak back up. Right now they're running it at like what, $550 roughly, and the all-time high was $698. Now, this is not market advice. I'm not telling you to run out and buy a Bubble Mew, but it could happen, and then it would soften in the summer. Now, this is short-term stuff. We're talking short-term stuff here. All right, so next up, we're going to talk about the Umbreon. All right, guys, is this starting to look familiar? This chart looks pretty similar. Now, it peaked in April, a little bit later, which is the same thing with the Mewtwo, or excuse me, with the Bubble Mew. It peaked in April, and it dropped all the way through, and it hit a bottom in August, July, August, and then it spiked way back up in September, and it peaked in October, and it softened all the way through the winter, and here we are now, where it's not picking back up yet. So is the Charizard the leading indicator? It could be. Now, my prediction is these are gonna pick up all the singles. I'm seeing the reason why I'm making this video is because I have a show this weekend and I'm repricing some of my higher dollar stuff. Now, I don't play in these $2,000, $4,000 ranges. I play with like $100 cards and below. And I noticed a lot of my $80, $60, $70 cards are ticking back up again. So it made me think, it's like, are we getting close to a peak? And I think we're getting there. Things are getting pretty crazy again. Now, the charts look a little bit different with sealed wax, so you need to keep that in mind. So I say they look a little different. That's because they just do this. Now, they don't just do this. They dip, and then they go back up. But they don't dip and have the wild fluctuations like the singles do. Now, we're going to talk about 151 ETB right here. And so it built steadily all the way through the summer, and it went all the way up till October, and then it dipped. It dipped during the winter, and now here we are again. It's running back up. Now, is sealed going to continue to run all the way through summer, and then dip in the fall, in the winter, and then run again? It's possible. I mean, that's kind of the way it looks right now with sealed. So really the way I'm handling this personally is I play the singles game, I play the sealed game, I play it all. And I rotate it and I sell it all the time. It all sells. I don't hold on to anything with speculation. And the reason why is because I can't predict the future. Now, I say that things rhyme right now. Things look similar to what happened last year with Prismatic and Ascended Heroes on the same side, and how the hype is bringing people in and everything. But there's no way to predict it. I feel like it's this way, but you can't make emotional decisions with your business. If you're running this as a trading card business, an actual business, then you need to not just play the market. Now, you need to be aware of things. That way you have capital to deploy when things happen. So I kind of thought things were going to slow down this winter. I didn't have capital to spend. So I didn't go as hard as I would like to. I'm going to keep that in the back of my mind for this year. Hopefully have a little bit of a nest egg. So when prices do cool down in the winter, I can take advantage of that and then hopefully repeat the whole cycle again starting next year. So as of right now, I am trying to go as hard as I can so that I can build up enough wealth, enough capital in order to buy during the next dip. Now, I know that things are going nuts right now, so now is the seller's market. You should be selling and then buying when things are dipping. Now, that's not the way most people handle things. Most people think they do, but they don't. But that's the way that I want to handle things. But as I say this, I'm buying, I'm selling, I'm buying, I'm selling, I'm trading, I'm doing it all the time. So it doesn't really change a whole lot going on. It's just keeping it in the back of my mind that I've seen these charts and I can see and I feel like things are getting to a point where we might be getting to a peak here soon. So I'm just keeping that in mind. What do you guys think? Do you guys pay attention to this stuff, or do you just ride the waves and just go along with it? Now, if you're a collector, it doesn't really matter either way, and more power to you. Love collectors. I'm a collector myself. I collect my own things, but I've reeled in what I collect, and I only collect certain things. That way, I don't feel shortchanged when the market goes insane, or feel bad that I bought at the peak when things are going down. So as a collector, it's more difficult on collectors when this type of stuff is going on. As a businessman, you just have to ride the waves. You just got to ride the waves. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully it helped. Let me know in the comments down below if it did. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe, leave a like. We'll catch you in the next video. Peace.